Hey guys, welcome to a new video. This is my 1980 Honda motorcycle and today we'll be looking at 3 services I have to do on this bike where you can follow along. First we will take a look at the air filter, then how to clean and lube the chain, and at last do an oil change together. Let's start with the air filter. On my bike I have a paper air filter. That means replacement is the only real option I have. While you can clean some particles out, it's not really cleanable. Just get a new one because a new one is like 20 bucks. Let's check out the state of the air filter. Mine is located just underneath the seat. Remove the seat lock and clamps, 3 screws, and the air filter cover is out. Hold the air filter against the light. If you can see through it, you are good to go. Mine is absolutely old, dusty and fried. It's not even white anymore. That is why the engine runs a bit too thick right now, which can kill in the long-term spark plugs and can clog the exhaust with carbon buildup, especially when you ride short distances. Just put the new one in properly and there you go. If you have other types like cleanable air filters that are a sponge, just clean those out. Let's talk about the chain. Before we start, we need some supplies. A cleaning spray, a lubricating spray to make the chain run smooth again, brushes and a rag to get everything properly off and to dry off the chain cleaner. My chain is absolutely filthy. The bike stood still for over half a year in the garage and the chain wasn't very well maintained even before I bought it. So I will do a deeper clean than I would normally. We can see here that an inspection is due every 1000 kilometers. For personal experience, I would do it every 800 kilometers. Just take a quick look and do it after every ride in rain or very humid weather. Also, an inspection doesn't mean that you have to clean the chain. Lubricating is enough most of the time. After 3 service cycles as a rule of thumb, or when you see fit, clean the chain again. It's not expensive or hard and you can save quite a nice sum of money because a new chain set and sprocket can cost a pretty penny. The money you save you can then spend on gasoline or really questionable project cars. Before you start spraying, look at your rear brake. If you have a disc brake, the lubrication spray or the cleaning spray can ruin your disc. I have a drum brake, so I don't have this problem. For starters, spray the cleaning spray at the bottom on top of the chain. Then use a tad bit of centrifugal force to spread it through the nooks and crannies of the chain. You can use your hand or your engine power. I used a lot of spray because I had a lot to clean. Then use a brush and a rag to get all the grime out. I also cleaned the outside, which you really don't have to, but the chain was really grimy and the nice shining silver chain just looks better. I also cleaned a bit of grime from other parts near the chain just to clean the bike a bit up. Then wipe the chain tidy and try to get as much cleaner out as possible. Let the bike sit so some cleaner can evaporate. As you can see, it's very cold outside, so there won't be much evaporating going on. But it still doesn't hurt to be safe. For lubrication, spray on the same spot you sprayed your cleaner on. If you are uncertain, there's always a quick instruction on the back of the can. Then use centrifugal force for efficient spreading again. I also sprayed a bit on the outside and wiped it with a rag to create a protective layer for the bare steel chain outside. Lastly, let the bike sit for at least 1 hour for the lube to set in. At last, let's talk about the oil and the oil filter. The oil keeps everything lubricated and your engine running smoothly. But before we start with the oil change, here are some pointers for you. You need to buy motorcycle oil, not car oil, or your clutch might start slipping. The additives don't match the vehicles. If you are rich, you might have a dry clutch. This doesn't apply to you. And you have to buy quality parts. And good oil filter can save your engine, while more expensive oil most of the time lubricates the engine better. As in preparation, let's put some cardboard under my bike to keep the ground clean from oil stains. If you live in an apartment or with your parents, you can save yourself a lot of trouble by doing this. Put it on the main stand or bike jack and start your bike. Let it warm up. This makes the oil the right viscosity and thus it flows out easier and faster, which leaves less crusty dusty oil in the engine. Put your oil pan under the oil screw, open it up and use the oil pan to catch the oil. What you don't want to see is very dark oil, small metal bits in the oil, like shiny oil and very little oil. so make sure your oil doesn't look like mine. Then start removing the oil filter housing center bolt. Do it slowly because there's oil in there and it will gush out. I got myself a current and oil filter, which is a brand I can recommend for basically everything, from air filters to oil filters. Pop the old filter out, wet the new filter and slap it back in. I didn't renew the gasket even though I have a new one because the old one was in very good condition. If yours is leaky, very hard or slightly damaged, just replace it or
Siliconator.
put the new sealant ring on the oil bolt. Search for the proper specs and search what other vehicle use. Luckily, I needed the spec very close to the standard VW oil bolt size, which saved me some money and a headache to find the perfect size. Use the Newton meter or foot-pound of torque specs in the manual to close the oil bolt. It isn't absolutely necessary, but specs have never failed me. While doing it myself, by gut feeling definitely has. Be careful with the refill. Don't overfill, it will damage your engine. It's better to do it slowly and check often. After the proper mount, start your bike so the oil channels and filter get flushed with oil. Then add some more so the dipstick is at mid capacity. If you have an old and disgusting oil cap like mine, it's sometimes stuck. I use some pliers for proper grip. You can also sometimes replace with cool aftermarket options. Here I use the temperature gauge instead of a typical oil cap. Thank you for watching. Big content is coming, so subscribe, you might never find this channel again. Bye bye.